Let me tell you about the exact moment I became the main character of my own personal horror story. It was a Thursday. Normal Thursday. I was eating cereal for dinner, wearing a hoodie I've owned since 2019, and genuinely at peace with my life choices. Then my phone buzzed. Daniel Mercer requests your presence at his wedding. Not a group text. A personal invite. Handwritten card, gold foil, my full name, Mia Calloway, written in calligraphy like I was being formally summoned to my own execution. Daniel, my ex. 3 years of my life. The guy who once cried at a dog food commercial, but apparently felt nothing when he told me I was too intense and walked out the door. And now he was getting married. To someone named Brielle. Of course her name is Brielle. Here's the part that made it worse. My entire friend group was going. Jamie, Priya, even Marcus, who hated Daniel by the way, suddenly had no problem attending because, quote, it's a free bar situation, Mia. Thanks, Marcus. Super helpful. So here were my options. Option 1, don't go. Look bitter. Spend the rest of my life being asked, did you ever get over the Daniel thing at every brunch until I die? Option 2, go alone. Walk into that reception as a 27-year-old graphic designer who eats cereal for dinner and hasn't been on a successful date since 2022, while Daniel introduces his new wife with a smile that says, see, I was fine, it was you. Option 3, disappear entirely. Fake my own death. Move to Portugal. Become a different person. I was genuinely considering option 3. My name is Mia Calloway. I'm 27. I design logos for brands that sell oat milk and artisanal candles, and I am, according to my last 3 exes, a lot. Too emotional. Too loud. Too much. I laugh too hard at my own jokes. I send voice notes that are 7 minutes long. I care about things deeply, and apparently that is exhausting to be around. I had officially quit dating apps 4 months ago after matching with someone who opened with, you seem fun, but I'm looking for someone low maintenance. He said that in the first message. So yeah, I was not exactly riding high when this wedding invite arrived. I did what any rational person would do. I called Priya, panicked for 45 minutes, then opened my laptop at 11 p.m. and Googled, rent a boyfriend for a wedding, which auto-corrected to +1 service for events, which led me down a rabbit hole that ended at a website called Companion Company. It looked professional, tasteful. Definitely not a crime. The bio that caught my eye read, Reese, 26, PhD candidate, fluent in small talk, formal events, and making your ex deeply regret his choices. I stared at that last line for a full minute. Then I booked her. 2 days later, I was sitting in a coffee shop, hands around a latte I wasn't drinking, waiting to meet the woman I'd just paid $500 to pretend to be in love with me for a weekend. Completely normal Saturday activity. She walked in and my brain did something embarrassing. Reese was okay. She was a lot. Dark hair, oversized blazer, the kind of easy confidence that makes a room rearrange itself around her without her trying. She spotted me immediately, smiled like she'd known me for years, and sat down across from me like we were old friends catching up. Mia? Her voice was warm, unbothered. Like she did this every weekend. Which apparently she did. That's me, I said. The woman who is definitely not having a breakdown. She laughed. Actually laughed. Breakdown clients are my favorite. They always have the best stories. And just like that, I liked her. Which was a problem. Because liking her was absolutely not part of the deal. She pulled out her phone. All business. Okay, tell me about this ex. Everything. I need to know what we're walking into. I opened my mouth to give her the short version. I gave her the 45-minute version. She listened to every word. Didn't check her phone once. Before I tell you what she said when I finally stopped talking, and trust me, it cracked something open in me I wasn't prepared for.
Enjoying the story? Subscribe now and never miss a single word.
When I finally finished my monologue, Daniel, the too intense comment, the Portugal plan, all of it, Reese just looked at me for a second. Then she said, he sounds deeply average. I blinked. What? Daniel. He sounds like a man who wanted a woman who'd shrink herself to fit him. That's not intensity being a flaw, That's incompatibility being his fault. I had not paid $500 to be emotionally dismantled in a coffee shop on a Saturday. And yet, we should talk logistics, I said, because processing feelings was not something I was doing right now. She smiled like she knew exactly what I was doing. Right. Logistics. We built the story over the next hour. Together 3 months. Met through a friend. She's finishing her PhD in behavioral psychology, which was true, and we bonded over a shared hatred of networking events, also apparently true. She was easy to talk to in the way that felt almost unfair, like she'd been specifically designed to disarm me. Ground rules, I told her. Keep it believable, but don't overdo it. She didn't need to hold my hand constantly or make scenes. Just exist next to me like someone who chose to be there. She agreed to everything with a calm that made me nervous. Wedding weekend arrived with the enthusiasm of a natural disaster. The venue was gorgeous, obviously. Rolling hills, string lights, a barn that probably cost more to rent for a day than my monthly salary. I showed up in a green dress I'd bought specifically to look like I'd definitely moved on and was thriving. Priya had told me I looked dangerously good. Marcus said I looked like a woman about to start a war. Both accurate. Reese met me in the parking lot. She'd worn something dark and simple and managed to look like she'd walked out of an editorial shoot without trying. When she saw me, she did this thing, a small, genuine smile, a little slower than polite, and said, "Green was the right choice." My heart did something I chose to ignore. The moment we walked in together, I felt it. The shift in the room. Heads turning. Jamie grabbing Priya's arm. And then across the venue, Daniel. He looked exactly the same. Taller in my memory. He spotted me, smiled the kind of smile that was 70% surprise and 30% something else, and started walking over. Incoming, I muttered. Reese subtly moved half a step closer without me asking. Not touching, just present. Like a wall made of warmth. "Mia, you actually came." Daniel hugged me like we were old friends. I let him. "Of course," I said. "Congratulations." His eyes moved to Reese. "And you are?" "Reese," she said, extending her hand, perfectly relaxed. "I've heard a lot about you." The smile she gave him was polite and completely unreadable, and somehow the most devastating thing I'd witnessed all year. Daniel laughed a little too easily. "Good things, I hope." "Mostly," Reese said. He excused himself shortly after. I exhaled so hard I nearly folded in half. "You okay?" Reese asked quietly. "Define okay," I said. She laughed, soft and low. "You looked great, by the way, while you were talking to him. Like you genuinely didn't need anything from him." I was actively dissociating. From the outside, it looked like confidence. Same thing. The reception was where things got complicated. Not because anything went wrong exactly. Because everything went right. And right was somehow harder to handle. Reese was phenomenal at the performance part. She laughed at the right moments. She touched my shoulder once, lightly, to get my attention, and I felt it for 30 seconds after. During toasts, she leaned close to whisper something sarcastic about the best man speech, and her breath was warm against my ear, and I stared at the centerpiece and told my nervous system to get a grip. At one point, Daniel's new wife, Brielle, who, for the record, was genuinely lovely, which made everything more confusing, found us at our table and said, "You two are so cute together. How long have you been dating?" 3 months, I said. "It feels longer," Reese said at exactly the same time. We looked at each other. Brielle cooed. I took a long sip of my wine. The lie was supposed to feel like a costume. Something I could take off at the end of the night, fold neatly, and leave in the car. But somewhere between the ceremony and the second glass of champagne, it had started feeling like something else entirely. Which was terrifying, because I am Mia Calloway. I am too much. I don't get to stumble into feelings for someone who is doing a job. I excused myself and found a quiet corner near the edge of the venue. Outside, where the string lights thinned out and the noise softened. I needed 60 seconds of not performing. I got about 45. "You disappeared," Reese said, appearing next to me. "Just needed air." She stood beside me, looking out at the dark field beyond the lights. Quiet for a moment. Then, "Can I say something off the clock?" I looked at her. We're always off the clock, Reese. You're literally at a wedding with me. She half smiled. Then, seriously, your ex is an idiot for letting you go. I opened my mouth to deflect. She kept going. And I don't say that to all my clients. The words landed somewhere I wasn't ready for. My chest tightened. The string lights blurred slightly. I looked away. You don't have to say that. I know. Her voice was quiet. I said it because it's true. I didn't respond. I couldn't. Because if I responded honestly, I was going to say something that would make this weekend significantly more complicated than I had budgeted for emotionally. Inside my head, a voice I'd been successfully ignoring all evening got very loud. You like her. You actually like her. You paid $500 and somehow this is still happening to you. I was so busy fighting that voice that I almost missed the moment Reese turned toward me, studying my face like she was trying to figure out if she'd said too much. Mia, don't, I said quietly. I wasn't going to say anything bad. I know. That's the problem. She looked at me for a long moment. And then softly she laughed. Not mocking, just warm and a little helpless. Like she was in the same place I was and found it equally ridiculous. We stood there in the dark at the edge of someone else's love story, and I thought, this is where I fall for someone again, isn't it? Not on a dating app. Not somewhere safe or logical. Here, in a green dress, at my ex's wedding, in the middle of a lie.
Enjoying the story? Subscribe now and never miss a single word.
We didn't go back inside. I don't know who decided that. Maybe neither of us did. We just stayed out there in the dark, string lights flickering behind us, the muffled sound of the reception drifting out like it belonged to a different world. Reese was looking at me in that steady, unhurried way she had, like I was a problem she wasn't trying to solve, just understand. Tell me something true, she said quietly. Not about Daniel. About you. I laughed a little, surprised. Right now? Right now. I looked out at the dark field and thought about it. Really thought about it. I've spent 2 years making myself smaller, I said finally. Like if I just took up less space, people would stop leaving. And it didn't work. I just ended up smaller and still alone. Silence. The kind that holds something. I know, she said softly. You've known me 4 days. I know, she said again. That's how obvious it is. And how unnecessary. I turned to look at her. She was already looking at me, and up close, in the thin wash of string lights, she looked less composed than usual. Like something she'd been holding carefully all evening was finally getting heavy. Reese, I said. What are we doing? I think, she said slowly, we're being very bad at pretending we're pretending. I laughed. It came out a little broken. This was supposed to be simple. I know. I'm sorry. She didn't sound sorry. She sounded like someone standing at the edge of something and choosing not to step back. She reached up and tucked a strand of hair behind my ear. Her fingers were warm. They didn't rush. I want to kiss you, she said. Quiet. Honest. Like a question that already knew its answer. My heart was doing something completely unreasonable. This is going to make the invoice very awkward, I said. She laughed, really laughed, the kind that reached her eyes, and then she kissed me. Not dramatic. Not the kind of kiss that announces itself. Just warm and certain and soft, the way things feel when they're true rather than performed. Her hand stayed at my jaw, gentle, like she was giving me every chance to decide. I didn't need it. When she pulled back, I kept my eyes closed for 1 extra second, just to keep it a little longer. Okay, I said. Okay, she repeated. That was yeah. Okay. She was smiling when I opened my eyes. That real smile. The one that had nothing professional left in it. We went back inside eventually. Danced once because Priya physically dragged us to the floor and Marcus started filming immediately. Reese put her hand on my waist like she'd done it 100 times. I didn't recite the periodic table this time. I just let it be real. On the drive home, the car was quiet in the warm, full way rather than the careful, guarded way. She didn't ask if I was okay. She knew I was. She pulled up to my building, kept the engine running. I want to see you again, she said. Not as a client. I'm a lot, I told her. Not a warning this time. Just the truth. I have a PhD in human behavior, Mia. I spent a whole weekend watching you. She looked at me steadily. You're not too much. You're just full. And the people who called that a flaw were looking for something emptier. I sat with that for a moment. Let it land properly instead of deflecting it. Dinner, I said. A real one. Not a wedding. Not a wedding, she agreed. I got out of the car, turned around at my door because of course I did. She was still there, watching, smiling in a way that had nothing left to hide. I waved. She drove away. I stood in the doorway and thought about Daniel, about the invite, about how 3 weeks ago I was eating cereal alone, genuinely considering faking my own death. About how something I'd done in a blind panic had walked me straight into the one person who looked at my too much and said so. I went inside, changed out of the green dress, and texted Priya. Something happened. She replied in 4 seconds. We know. Marcus owes me $20. I laughed until I cried a little. Very on brand. 3 weeks later, Reese brought me flowers she'd grown in her apartment window, slightly lopsided, very alive, and I thought, yeah, this is the right kind of too much. And if you've ever convinced yourself that the thing that makes you a lot is actually your best quality, just waiting for the right person, hit that like and subscribe. Because sometimes the love story starts in a parking lot, at your ex's wedding, in the middle of a lie, and it ends up realer than anything you ever planned.